Video where we will do a challenge 9. What it is that I will solve 9 questions in Python on different topics, including while loop, if else, and general input and output to help you prepare for a Python exam quicker. Just to let you know that the exam you'll be preparing for would be of a basic level, not very advanced. So I kept if for example you have studied Python, let's say for 7 weeks, you have covered loops, you have covered variables, you have covered input output, print, you have covered while loop, right? Stuff like that. Then you need to sit for exam, let's say a midterm exam. In some universities, this is known as major one, right? And how would you prepare for it? Right? So let's do it. Challenge 9. The first question. I think the most important thing is to understand how to solve a question, right? So what would I do? I'm going to sort of highlight the question first. So look at the question, read the question. Whenever I go to exam, right? First read the question. For example, take a number from user using input statement. Now if it says you gotta highlight this. So you gotta color code each part of exam separately so that you can really focus on doing one thing at a time. So write a program to generate multiplication table of up to 10 times, right? This is another color, I'm going to code it, right? For that number, right? Which number? That number that you took as an input. So what he's saying is, take the number from the user. So you got to remember one thing, the program always flow like a water, right? It always comes from top to bottom. So you always got to do the first thing first, right? So let's do this then. Okay, let's program it. Yeah. Input statement. So first you need to do is you need to define a table, right? Table, right? And you get asked user what table. So look at the question. What it says, take a number from the user, do what? Print a table. So we'll take a number and put it into a table, right? So we say what table you want to get. So obviously the table is going to be an integer. So you got to take input value as an integer, right? That's why I put integer there. And then you got to do is enter the table. What is the question? Right? Look at the question. Take input from the user to print the table, right? So enter the table that you would like to print, right? This is the first thing you gotta do. Now, once this is done, right? Then next thing you need to do is you need to print the table. Another important thing is here, write a program to generate multiplication table using while loop. That's most important thing in your question. If you don't get this right, while loop, you don't use while loop to do that, you get your questions wrong. And that's why it's important to first do it in the while loop, right? Okay, and let's do the while loop here. While, okay, while loop. This is how you do while loop, but you got to do a condition inside the while loop, right? So what condition do you want to do? You want to do the condition of the while loop says write a print up to 10 times, right? 10 times. I mean, if I enter 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, up to 5 times 10. That's what it is saying. So if we're going to do this, we got to put here an integer, let's say I, right, is equal to, the loop starts from, the table starts from 1. Like if the user entered, let's say 6 or 5 let's say. So it's got to do 5 times 1 equal 5, 5 times 2 equal 10. So start with 1. So that's why you got to put 1 here, I is equal to 1. And I should continue until I is less than 11. You know, the moment it becomes 10, that should print, and when it becomes 11, it should quit. And that's why you say while I less than 11, you don't need these brackets if you don't want to. You could do it like this, right? And indentation, remember, whatever is in the loop, it must come under the loop, right? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do the print command here, and then we're going to do our table. So first thing first, we're going to, how do you want this to be printed? You want to be printed like this, isn't it? For example, you want to say 5, right, times 1 equal 5. This is how you want the table to be printed, right? Now you need to prepare this print statement in such a way that it does this printing. I'll sort of like, you know, make it a bit bigger for you in case you can't see it. So now this 5 will be entered by the user, right? When you say enter the table, right? For example, here, user, if I show you, this is gonna, oh, right, okay, we get an error. What is the error? Let's see. It says unprecedented indentation. Indentation is always an issue, remember, right? Like this, okay. Indentation, you gotta start from the back here, like this. So I'm gonna do this and gonna do tab, and it will not give me an error. So you wanna do this like user is gonna ask you what table you wanna print. Let's say you say 5, and it should start printing like this, 5 blah 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 blah, right? Like this. But the problem is right now it's an infinite loop, so it's gonna keep printing what I said. So it should stop as well, right? The loop should stop. So what you need to do is first you need to replace 5 with what user entered. So here you say table comma this, right? It will print this, and then also you could do this, and instead of 1 you could put I, so that every time it changes, when the value of I changes, every time it will change. And then you want to put the equal as it is, right? And that's why you need to put the equal into the bracket like this, and comma, instead of 5 it should be I times table, right? And now your loop is going to bring you a table of 5 when you enter 5, right? And this is how you do it. Next thing what you need to do is, you gotta increase I is equal to I, so that every time value of I changes, right? I is equal to I plus what? 1, right? Now I is equal to I plus 1, and it's gonna continue doing it, right? Now what we need to do next, we gotta and when is the value of I would be less than 10, when the value of I is 10, it will print this, come here, make it 11, go back, is I less than 11? No, it's gonna quit, right? And that's how you're gonna get your table of whatever you enter, right? Here we go. So what kind of table you wanna print? I say 6, I like 6, table of 6. Here we go. 6 times 1, 6, 6 times 2, 12, 6 times 3, 18, blah, blah, blah. And this is how the job is done. Right, okay. Now, I'm going to stop it here, and then we're going to do the next question.